when you take the breath in, 4, 2, 2, hold, out. Before you take that next breath, that's where the space is.
Yeah, and all this stuff is it's all experiential.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, you don't know if it works unless you actually try it.
Exactly. And right. The reasons why I'm willing to share it is because these are the things that I try. Like these are the things that keep me at peace. These are the things that give me comfort and a feeling of freedom. And now I can move forward and embody those things that I want to be with more security, with more confidence, and just making decisions. I can see, like, if you're in a situation where you're in stress and you take that deep breath before you answer or before you respond, it will change everything. 3 deep breaths change and put you out of fight or flight.
Yeah, definitely.
3 deep breaths. Yeah.
Because it is presence. Presence, you can change the outcome of something in that moment.
Right.
You know, get stuck in these cycles, and that's my behavior earlier in the week, was me being just, I'll just say what it was in truth. I got into an online spat with someone, but it got really ugly. But the truth is, it's like sport for me. I'm an intellectual and I'm Bajan and Jamaican, so it's part of our culture to run off our mouths as well and to go to war with our mouths. So when that person started, I was like, that's the truth. A part of me was like, oh, let's go, you know. And afterwards I did find it quite funny, but then the reality of how basic was kicked in, you know, and they deleted the whole post and messaged me about it, and I thought, that's not a good look to be showing anybody, you know that's wrong. But in the moment, I know, like, I've had some situations in recent years where, as you're saying, Tenia, I've brought myself into the present, I've changed my thoughts, and I've sent out loving energy all at once. So I've gone, no, like, I've gone onto the phone call with whoever it is thinking, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And then I go, no, that person is a representative of that company. You don't know them. They're probably a lovely person. So send them love, send them good vibes, calm down. And I see the outcome just shift right in front of my eyes. And I think to myself, if I'd have carried on with that original thought that you lot don't care about me and you're trying to rob my money and, you know, these big corporations, you're all evil. If I carried on with that thought, I probably would have got a more negative outcome. So it's like that, as you're saying, finding that space, it is all in real time, which I think the programming doesn't teach us that it's in real time, which is why being present is important, because Joe Dispenza puts it in a way that I can get it, where if you want to keep thinking the same thoughts every day, then you're choosing to keep living the same life every day.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because when you tell the story over and over again, you're bringing it back into the present. Every time you tell it over, you're living it over again. You know? And also, when you tell a story over, you're only telling the story from the last time you told it. You're not telling the original story anymore.
Yeah, true.
So every time you tell the story, you're losing parts of it, you know?
That's so dope. That's so true. I never thought of that. That's so dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our egos don't want to admit that we are doing something wrong to create the wrong. You know, our egos don't like to admit, I created that. That bad outcome is because I went into it with negative viewpoint and negative words or negative energy. You know what I mean? That's why I think spirituality is hard, because we've been programmed into an ego society. There are societies in the world where they're not egotistical like that, you know. And I think 19 Keys talks about Japan and how if you're early, you park the furthest away, and so that the people who are late can get the spot by the door and get into work, because You know, that's how they work as a unit, as a community.
That's considerate.
Yeah, because we don't do that. We don't do that.
Oh, the parking lot empty. I'm getting the closest spot. You know.
It's deep because it's all goes. Everything goes back to self. Everything, and the mindfulness and the presence, as you say, that's where the control is.
Right. So I want to say one last thing, just to end it off. You are perfect. Each and every one of you are perfect. We were created perfect. We are perfect. We are not broken. There's nothing wrong. We don't have to fix us. We just have to learn how to maneuver in this dimension, just to make it peaceful. I just want to let you guys know. So don't think you're broken at all. Nothing's wrong with you. I love this group so much. I really do. I was seeking a group of people who were like-minded, and you guys, right there.
Absolutely. We're so grateful for you. So grateful for the wisdom. Yeah, that's such a perfect start to the Saturday and the weekend.
That was really
Can
good.
I say something?
Yes.
Can I say what
hi, Miss Veronica. I haven't seen you in a while. How you been?
I know. I've been okay. Yeah, I'm doing great now.
Well, give me
Thank you for
$20 when you get it.
Okay. I wanted to share what I got out, what I heard, or what resonated with me. Breathwork helps create a feeling of safety. It can create that's a big question that I have been asking God, the universe. How can I feel safe? Part of it is doing things, but also part of it is a mindset. Breathwork can help me get there. That's what I heard. The other thing I heard, you didn't talk about this, but you were, when you talk about fight or flight, always being in stress, the thing that came to me is, my gosh, that sure is a lot of cortisol in the body, right?
Yes.
And my sister and I were talking about burnout this week. And part of burnout is your adrenal gland being drained. It needs to be rebuilt. And so cortisol, production and the adrenal, I need to research this, but they're related. And so I was thinking, yeah, and say that again, basal.
Plays a part. The cortisol plays a part in your adrenal
Plays
gland.
a part. And so if I want to reduce the amount of cortisol in my body, because cortisol kills, stress, chemical cortisol, that's what tears the body's organs down. That's what's happened to me. So the breath work is the first step to moving away from burnout. And that was another question that I kind of had. When you are burned out, how do you move away? And so the breath work, I know now, is a very important part of that. And then the last thing I got out of this is that breath work moves me from ego being in my head to spirit being in my heart. And I know a lot of times I don't want to operate from ego because the thoughts are erroneous. A lot of my programming is in ego. This is where, in my mind, my ego sits all up in here. But when I move down, I'm getting closer to intuition, to what I see, my senses, what I see, what I feel, what I hear, what I smell, what I can touch. And I feel like when I operate more from spirit and I let ego take a back seat, I don't destroy it or eliminate ego, but I let ego be a co-pilot or a helper, I tend to manage my stress better. So that's what I got out of it. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. That was
very helpful.
Yeah, that was good. Also, when you were talking about, and Caroline said something also about the thoughts in your head, you do, so I'm gonna ask you, you know that the thoughts aren't you, right? Those thoughts are not you.
I know that, but that's where my work is. That's where a lot of my work is, because I do realize that I can't separate my thoughts from who I am, but it's also tied into my programming and my trauma.
Exactly.
So my trauma from childhood put a lot of thoughts in my head about me, like you said, that aren't true, telling me I wasn't perfect and something was wrong with me. And so from time to time, those thoughts can surface and they seem very true because it's part of my programming and my trauma. So I do need a lot of work there.
Exactly. Everybody has something going on, especially with programming and with trauma. And sometimes we don't even realize we have the trauma. But one thing that you can do with the thoughts, that when you get the over thoughts, overthinking, and it takes you, sometimes it'll take, because I do it too. It's everybody. It's not, I'm not, it happens, trust me. And I have to use the modalities. And being able to tell you guys about it helps me stay on focus too. You know, it helps me remember. But one of the things that you can do is you can just tell it to stop. You say, stop. Just say it. Watch. Try it. It works. And say, that's not true. Talk to it like it's something to talk to. You know what I mean? Like, talk back to it and tell it, because it's yours. You own it. It's not who you are.
I've done that before too. I've talked back to it and it said, that's not true. So I'm in agreement with that. It does work. I haven't done the other one and saying stop, but I have said that's not true.
Yeah, me too. I do that as well.
I have a question. I know I should have been asked this, but like you keep saying it, so I need to know, like, when you say like I use one of the modalities, like what exactly are you like referring to? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so one of the modalities is breathwork.
Another modality. So one of your tools, like, you mean like that? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
I use Ho'oponopono prayer also. I think that's one that we can kind of talk about if you want to right now.
What is it called?
Ho'oponopono.
Okay, yeah, I don't even know what that is. So
have heard of it before? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. So it's the 4 sayings is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I tell you when I use it, when you can use it all the time. What the Ho'oponopono prayer does is erase the data. So the data is all those thoughts in your mind, all those words that keep coming up that says that this is bad or this is wrong or this is bothering you or whatever it is. But when you say Ho'oponopono, you're saying to the universe and to yourself, I'm sorry for this being shown in my perspective, because I created it. If it's in my view, I created it. So I'm sorry for creating this and bringing it to my view this way. Please forgive me. Forgive me for how I'm thinking about you, how I'm looking at you, how the world is looking at you, whatever it is that you're talking about. Thank you for the forgiveness. Thank you for the world showing up this way. Thank you for the positive side of it. I love you. I love myself. I love myself. I want it to be so much better. And that energy. So the history of this is, I think the guy's name is Hugh Ling. He's a Hawaiian. It comes from Hawaii. And he says Ho'oponopono prayer. He's a psychologist. And he was working in a mental institution for criminally insane. And the institution ended up closing down because he came in to talk to he was supposed to be talking to each of the patients. He never talked to the patients. He would run into them in the hallway. He read their bios or whatever, their folders. And while he was reading their folders, he said Ho'oponopono prayer about them, and all of them came to sanity. All of them got well, and all of them got released.
All right, so it's it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
It brings some peace to you inside. I don't know how it works or what it, you know what I mean? But it does when you, especially for me, I use it when it's like, I just, you know how, for me, I go through a lot of sensitivity with the feelings. And sometimes the people, because I'm so around so many people, and they'll come around with the agitation of, this is going on, and that kind of agitation, and I'm not trying to feel that. And so I'll just start saying Ho'oponopono prayer. It gives me peace. They keep going with what they're doing, and it helps resolve the situation on a spiritual level at the same time. So it's something, if you want to do some research on it, the person who brought it to the United States from Dr. Hugh Ling is Joe Vitale, and he's written books on it with him. Yeah, so if you
said Joe Vitale
with a B, B is in Victor.
Yeah,
from The Secret. Yeah.
Vitale. Oh, The Secret, really?
Yes.
From The
Same
Secret.
Same one that Joe Dispenza is from, yes.
Yeah, they come
from. Okay, copy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I have The Secret. You know, I still never finished reading this book, and I had this book since I came home in 2017. This little book that is right here that I still have never finished. I'm gonna get back into it.
It's got a lot of good stuff in it.
It's got a lot of good stuff, and some of the people are really good, and following them outside of their interview is really interesting.
And
the way I understand the Ho'oponopono prayer is that it's like you're talking to your higher self, and you're talking because we, as you say, we are creating it all. We just didn't know how much we were creating it all. So the universe, this is what the divine guidance I've received. I asked for it. So if I ask for it and I've been given it, and then I'm here being a victim and feeling sorry for myself and blaming everything else, the universe is like, you asked for it and I gave you it. So that apology is saying, I know I asked for it and you gave me it, and I'm grateful that you gave me it, but I asked for the wrong thing. I cancel that immediately, because I think that is the power of knowing self. That's one of the fundamentals why self-love is the key thing, because you got to know what you want, not follow societal programming, because I know I created a lot of things in my reality that I didn't want. But I thought I wanted it because society says, and all that judgment stuff as well. Me sitting on my high horse going, I wouldn't do that, and blah blah blah. I'm so glad you raised that, actually, because it's something I think I need to practice, because I know I'm aware of it, and I did it for a little while, but my ego took over, and I was like, I ain't saying I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I am sorry.
It's so simple that it's sometimes overlooked. You know what I mean? And you say, I'm not going to do that. It's so simple, And sometimes he has a fifth statement. It says, I loves myself. And if you say that, it encompasses all four statements, actually. Because you're saying your higher self loves you, myself, And that's big.
Yeah, it's a mind-blowing thing, and spiritual growth is only experiential. There's so much of this you can't wrap your head around until the universe gives you the real life experience. Exactly. And then it all clicks into place, doesn't it?
Right, because actually words don't teach, experience does.
Yep. You know what I'm excited about? I'm starting to see this spread amongst people. And I think this was very prevalent for April 5th, when it was like, nope, stay at home, take care of yourself, be with family, watch a good movie, tend to your garden. It was a lot of not choosing that, which there was a lot of pressure to choose that, but to choose yourself and invest in yourself first. So that's what I loved about this past week, last Saturday, or was it Saturday? Whatever day April 5th was. I saw collectively as a group that we chose ourselves, we chose rest, we chose self-love over doing what was expected of us. And we saw that what was expected of us is not necessarily the most fruitful thing for us as individuals and for our culture. So I was so proud of us. I think this is starting to seep in, and people are starting to get, it's not anti-you, it's pro-me. And if I can present myself as healthy and rested, it's going to make for a better interaction overall. So I'm so excited for the direction that I feel like culturally we are going. I think we're finally getting it, that you have to take care of yourself first and foremost. Like, the airplane thing, it seems counterintuitive, but you put your mask on first, and then that's what I felt like April 5th was. Everybody putting the mask on themselves first, and then, okay, now who can I help? So